Welcome back, guys. Today we're going to be briefly discussing Alex Eubanks' steroid use, which we previously already talked about a year ago in a video. And I'm going to go ahead and throw up some of the older evidence that I constructed for that video and briefly reshare my thoughts on this evidence.
Hormone part, bro. My total test was 215. 215 and my free was 7.33. I personally think it's definitely from having a low-fat diet, calorically restricting myself for a long period of time, and then my anxiety. But still, that's bad. My dad got his stuff checked and he was at like 350 one test, 400 another test. And he's 56 years old, so he's like way older than me. Like, mine should not be that low. No matter how much stress or whatever I'm going through, it should not be that low. And then I also have symptoms of low test. So it shows a consistent level of me having like low T. It's never spiked above like 1,000 or anything. I've always had consistently pretty, moderate to low testosterone naturally. In January, my testosterone was 655 nanograms per deciliter. Testosterone free was 15.46. Now my test is 540, so we're about 100 less. If you remember one of my older videos, my testosterone on my cut last summer, I think it was November, was like 420, 440. Then after in January, it shot up when I started bulking up a little bit more to 65, where it was here. And then now it's around 540. And I'm probably in between, levels right now. So my range of testosterone, my body fluctuates between 400 to 650 to probably maybe 700 naturally. I'd be cool I really should not do this. I want to talk about my testosterone levels being just not extraordinarily, still in the natural range, but just being way higher than they were. The number I got back, I don't have it exactly in front of me, but I believe it was like 920 total tests for free. Testosterone was 932, reference range was 250 to 1100. The sex hormone binding globulin, whatever that is 23. Albumin, 4.4. Y'all probably know this better than me. My free test was 196.2. We're leaving this video about it. I just honestly think it's because I'm not restricting myself whatsoever. I'm placing a lot less stress on my body overall. I'm just not training nearly as hard or consistently as I was. Been a lot more content oriented. It's just been a little bit more hectic instead of like more dialed in. Not doing as much cardio. Honestly, I feel a lot better. I'm sleeping more.
And from this evidence, it's very clear there's a vast range of test levels that Alex Eubanks has faced over the course of just a few years. I mean, he goes from 215 nanograms a deciliter to 400 to 500 to 600, back down to 500, and then it skyrockets to 930 nanograms a deciliter. And I also don't want to overlook his word usage here, where in one of the videos he clearly states that his natural testosterone range is 400 to 600.
My range of testosterone, my body fluctuates between 400 to 650 to probably maybe 700. Natural.
And then in the next video describing his 930, his new high test level, he says his extraordinarily high test level, and then immediately backtracks on that because he knows it doesn't add up. It doesn't make any sense as to how you can go from 200 to 900 nanograms a deciliter of testosterone.
I'd be cool I really should not do this. I want to talk about my testosterone levels being just not extraordinarily.
I don't care how deep you are into a cut, how aggressive you are when it comes to the weight room. There's no way you're going to be able to drop your test levels down by that much. And also vice versa, because in my opinion, you might be able to increase your testosterone levels by maybe 100 to 200 nanograms a deciliter, depending on how your lifestyle currently is. And creating a healthier lifestyle, you might be able to get, 100, 200 nanograms a deciliter higher than what you previously were. But increasing it this significantly, increasing it over 4 times what it used to be, I don't believe it's possible. He also said in that video where he's discussing his 900 nanogram deciliter test range that he wasn't training as hard. He wasn't training as consistently either. His frequency was lower. He wasn't really caring about what he was eating. He was sleeping more though, and he wasn't doing as much cardio. So do you really think that someone that's not dialed in, that doesn't care about what they're really doing, is gonna have higher testosterone than someone that's weightlifting and having a healthier lifestyle? I don't think so. And so now from this new video, I wonder if he had been experimenting, maybe doing a few cycles here, coming off of it, trying to go back to the natural route, and maybe from experimenting with testosterone, he crashed his natural test levels and may have ruined his body's ability to naturally produce his own testosterone, which would explain why in one video he says his natural range is 400 to 600 nanograms a deciliter, and then he struggled with low testosterone in the 200 to 300 nanogram deciliter range. When you take testosterone, your body has to regulate other hormones to maintain homeostasis. With this influx in testosterone, your body stops producing testosterone because your body realizes that the testosterone levels within it are already high, so there's no need for it to create more or increase it even further. And that's because the testosterone hormone is already there, so then it starts producing very little. And so what happens is if you stop taking steroids, your body sometimes won't bounce back, it won't recover, and it will keep producing that little amount of testosterone, forcing a lot of ex and retired bodybuilders or pro athletes to go on to TRT or testosterone replacement therapy. And this is why you see a lot of pro athletes become dependent on gear, because once you start, there is almost no way you can get off scot-free. You either wind up having bitch tits, which is, extreme amount of gyno or fat around your nipples and lower chest, which can occur from either your genetics, long-term use of steroids, or coming off of them. And try to mitigate that. That's why when some people come off steroids, they'll wind up taking estrogen blockers to try to prevent that and other negative effects from occurring. And you guys already know my thoughts and stance on gear. I recommend if you're not trying to make it a career path, there's no point in using it, because there's no way to tell if you're going to be a hyper responder and get the results you think it's going to give you, or you're just going to wind up inhibiting your testes, ruin your natural testosterone production, and end up with a long list of health complications down the road. Now, in Alex's case, I believe in my heart that he was natural at one point. However, with the increased amount of social media presence that he gained, and along with it, the amount of pressure to wind up competing with other bodybuilders within the same niche, I feel like he suffered with a lot of jealousy and a lot of envy. I feel like this is what has pushed him over the edge into just going on and getting on gear, going on being open with it. That way he can go ahead and reach whatever potential he envisions himself reaching. I'm gonna throw up a few clips right here where it's just open jealousy. He was also in a content house with the Trend Twins and other fitness influencers, and I believe seeing other people be more successful at the niche really hurt his ego, his self-esteem, and he's always been trying to be better than everybody else around him.
I lived with the twins, and this is not me hating on them, bro. They were my brothers at one point, and I was with them when they were natural, and then I was with them when they first hopped on gear, and I saw the change and how it. Or even points where some of the stuff that they would take, I could see it changing their mental, bro. At one point when they were, not on the right stuff. If you look at people who take steroids, look at their before when they're natural, and then they're after, even after just a few years. Look how fast it ages you. It makes you literally kind of look ugly. These kids are literally 20 years old, 19, 20. 5 of them. Every single one of them was on steroids, bro. And you would never even tell these kids who are watching this stuff are oh, I want to be like my favorite fitness influencer who's openly open about promoting hella gear usage. So maybe I should do the same thing so I can end up after that, which I would say is the current one we're in, is the glorifying steroid use era. And I would say that this started changing, in 2023.
The Twins, yeah, I heard the Twins were saying something about regretting Maryland. Talking about that in their podcast soon to come. Answers on the content will be, bro, trust me, I already answered that shit, dude. I'll be honest with you. I got finessed out of that whole content I was supposed to have with them. I want to slowly get into something a little different. I obviously still have fitness, but I don't know, whether it's more Christian content, I'm thinking about getting into boxing or more mainstream. I don't know, dude, anything. This industry's getting toxic as hell, though.
And there's nothing wrong with that mindset to some extent. You want to be better than the next person beside you. However, it can set you down a destructive path, which I'm afraid is what this has done to Alex. And he may reach a slippery slope, because from this new video, he even states openly that he's going to take a fraction of what other influencers are taking. And he's going to have a physique that they're going to wish they had, that they're going to dream of having.
And all the people talking shit, saying your physique hasn't changed, bulk, whatever, I'm going to take a quarter of the amount of gear that your favorite influencer is probably taking and have a physique they could dream to have. And I don't say that in a cocky, oh, he needs to be humbled way. No, I say that because I know about myself. Whoever doesn't think I haven't been natural in my life, you're stupid. I have been. And my physique's actually going to change now. And I know with my physique and my frame and the weight and the way that I train, when I actually am dialed in, looking forward to something, as I always have been for the last 70 years, I know what I can do when I'm dialed in. I'm confident in that. I don't mean that in a bad way. I'm gonna take it in a healthy way, and I'm gonna take way less. The majority of people abusing it and look better than them. And I say that in a humble way. I don't mean that in a bad way.
And of course, with any drug, when you start taking it and you start seeing any benefit whatsoever or feeling better, you're going to wind up increasing the dosage. There usually comes a point when the old dosage just isn't enough, or isn't giving you that same feeling, or isn't getting you the effects that you desire, so then you're going to increase it. And I feel like even though he's going into it right now with the low dosage in mind, he's going to stay with that consistently, he's never going to increase, I feel like he's going to be very tempted to increase because he's already on it. He has already burned the natty card, so why not go all the way? And one of the reasons I really liked Alex in the beginning was because I believed he was natural. And also because he started promoting Christian values, which, as you guys know, I'm Christian myself. However, this side of him is not very pleasant to view because it looks like there's a lot of greed, a lot of envy, and a lot of jealousy behind that good physique he already has. He's very aesthetic. He should have, in my opinion, played into the role of being the aesthetic, natural bodybuilder. There's not a lot of big natural influencers within the fitness niche right now. I myself am natural and I plan on staying natural, but just like Alex knows and I know that the physique is what gets the clicks. The good, crazy physique is what gets the views, and that's what gets you famous. You know, being a natural powerlifter, yeah, I can throw up some decent numbers, but someone that's using gear is always going to outclass me. They will always beat me when it comes to that. And I understand that, and I'm fine with that because they're going down a different path than me. I enjoy the security of knowing that my body can naturally produce testosterone, so I don't have to worry about my supply ever getting cutting off of a drug or being reliant on a drug for the rest of my life. I also get satisfaction out of being able to beat some of the people that are using PEDs. It is very satisfying to beat someone naturally that is using drugs for enhancement. And so now in Alex's case, he was already famous. He could have held on to this natty card. He could have really excelled in that niche. And instead, I feel like, especially to his younger subscribers, his younger followers, they're going to view this and be like, well, if Alex was natural and he got on gear, maybe I should get on gear earlier than Alex. And that way, maybe I can be famous like Alex or be better than Alex. It sets the wrong message. There's so many younger people that are getting famous that are using PEDs, using these drugs, and a lot of the younger generation do not do what Alex is doing, which I applaud Alex for doing this, is go to a doctor and consult a doctor before, during, and after your PED use, whatever you may be using. I've had multiple people come to me in my DMs asking if they should hop on gear, and the first question I ask is, have you even got blood work done? Do you even know if you have low testosterone right now? And you know what they always say? No, I never thought about that. They don't even have a baseline. And yet all they can think about is potential fame, the sponsorships, the money that might come along with them blowing up and getting lucky. Every time I post, every time anybody posts on social media, they are rolling the dice. They are hoping the algorithm blesses them. They're hoping their thumbnail is going to get them more views and the content's going to be good enough to keep a viewer around long enough and get them to subscribe. And this game of numbers can be very addicting. It releases dopamine, you know, when you see your followers, subscribers going up, your views going up. But it can also be very destructive to the mind if you're solely focused on the numbers and not really enjoying the journey or creating content in general. For me personally, I enjoy making informative content. I enjoy recording a little bit behind the scenes, you know, for our vlogs and stuff. I enjoy having this log of information for anybody that may need it or may benefit from it. So what a lot of younger people do is they want to hide it. They don't want to get blood work done. They don't want to go to a doctor or consult a doctor. Instead, they go to the biggest guy in the gym that's selling gear to be able to afford his car payment, you know, his house payment. And he knows he can do this because he's making lifelong clients. And so the younger individual will ask the bigger guy, you know, how much should I be injecting? And the bigger guy will be, yeah, but this would be good for you, knowing nothing about the blood work or the biochemistry with this individual. So again, I applaud Alex for at least consulting a doctor and not keeping it behind closed doors for any longer, because I believe he's already experimented with gear in the past. And so in the beginning of the video, he openly states he doesn't care what other people think about him. He's doing it for himself.
For 8 long years, I've been grinding. No shortcuts, no excuses. Every rep, every set was earned the hard way. You see, I've heard it all. You're not big enough. You're not strong enough. For years, people have clowned me.
How did this man go from the most loved to the most hated fitness influencer in such a short amount of time?
He's been wrestling these allegations for ages and denying the fake natty rumors constantly.
Some of you think you know what I've been through, but you don't. Every ounce of muscle, every inch of progress, it's mine. It was not handed to me. No shortcuts, no cheats. I stayed natural for 8 years straight. 8 years of pushing my body to its limits, of hearing the same shit talk, the same doubts. Your physique isn't changing. Bro, you need to bulk. I'm not here to please anyone. I'm not here to fit in anyone's box. I'm here for me. I'm officially stepping into the world of testosterone, not because I need validation, not because I'm chasing numbers or approval, but because I have more to prove to myself. The version of me you thought you knew, he's gone. And what's coming next? That's something you've never seen before.
However, 4 minutes into the video, he contradicts himself, and I can't believe he would contradict himself to such a degree.
I'm going to take a quarter of the amount of gear that your favorite influencer is probably taking and have a physique they could dream to have.
And the fact that he allows this, I mean, he more than likely edits this or sends this off to an editor and approves it. And he still thinks this is a good look for him. He doesn't even realize it because he's so absorbed in looking better than everybody else, being that top influencer. He often always states, you know, with his low testosterone, he feels low sex drive, low energy, brain fog, you know, the common symptoms that come along with low testosterone. However, it also comes along from being too lean. Alex is very aesthetic. He also looks like he has a low percent body fat almost year round. If he increases caloric intake by at least 200 calories, he might be able to add on a little bit more fat, increase his body fat percentage, and that could potentially solve some of the problems he's been facing the past few years, as well as get his testosterone back in that 400, 600 normal range that he claimed he had before. And if he wasn't experimenting with gear, he more than likely should be able to get back in this range. However, I believe that boat has sailed, and he's going down his own path now. But there's a reason there's something called off season, especially in bodybuilding, and that's because if you keep training at such a high intensity, high frequency, you know, you're having a crash diet, you're on a cut for a prolonged period of time, you're going to experience some of the side effects that come along with lower testosterone, not only because your testosterone will be lowered from the cut, from the training frequency, from the training intensity, and from being lean and show cut ready all year round. And this is natural. And that's why you have off seasons. That way you can add that little bit of fat back. That way you can eat more regularly. It's almost impossible to be cut and show ready year round. And even if you can accomplish that, it's not healthy. And I think a lot of lifters can learn to be satisfied in what they've already accomplished and where they've gotten to now. I mean, if you look back at your physique even a year ago, 2 years ago, where were you at? Do you feel like you're better? Have you improved? If so, then great, congratulations, you're on the right track. But comparison is a thief of joy. And if I pull a picture of Arnold during his peak at his prime, I'm gonna be like, damn, I look like shit. But if I pull a picture of me at 16, I'll be like, damn, I've added on a lot of weight. I look a lot better. You know, I look healthier. I'm bigger. I'm stronger. I mean, wow, I've really came a long way. Your perspective has a lot to do with your mentality. And I really hope that this isn't a slippery slope. He doesn't slide off. He doesn't start abusing gear. So with this being said, I just want to address Alex Eubanks' recent video and also talk about, you know, the video we came out with a year ago regarding the same subject where I claimed he wasn't natural. And now with him coming out claiming that he's not natural himself, I just had to readdress it. Alex, I wish you nothing but the best. I hope that this journey is as healthy as it can be for you. And I hope you can achieve your dream, whatever that may be. And I hope you guys have a good morning, a good night whenever you're watching this, and I'll see you in the next one.